What's up, guys? Welcome to the Kouba Kitchen Journey, and today we are making little bitty lemon bites. These are a delicious little morsel of lemon and frosting and a glaze on top of it. But before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe. And now let's gather our ingredients. We are going to be starting off with 2/3 of a cup of butter, 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, and some lemon zest, which we're not actually using lemon zest today, but if you want to make it pretty, you can. We're going to have about a tablespoon of salt and then 1 1/4 cup of flour. So now that you have gathered your ingredients, let's go ahead and dive into it. Alright, so this is a pretty simple recipe. What we've got here is we've got our butter and our sugar. We go ahead and mix that in, so that's our 2/3 of a cup of butter and our 1 cup of sugar. We're going to get that beat up pretty well. You want to make sure that your butter is room temperature, and I'm actually using a hand mixer for this. I usually use my stand mixer, but I wanted to give out the Flex Plus hand mixer attachment a go. I'm interested to hear what your preferences are. If you prefer to use a stand mixer or a hand mixer, make sure you drop a comment down below. Anyway, so we're getting this all mixed up, and then we are going to add in our 2 eggs. Now we don't want to overbeat the eggs in this, so we're just running it a little bit just to get it incorporated. Nothing too crazy with that. Once that is done, we're going to pop in our 4 tablespoons of lemon, and again, we're going to get that mixed up. We're going to put in our salt in there, and then we're going to slowly incorporate our flour. Now we got a 1 1/4 cup of flour going in, and yeah, my son decided he wanted to help, so he dumped in a little bit of the flour. No big messes came from this. Just a reminder that we're using the beater attachment for the mixer, not the whisk attachment. Now that all the ingredients are in, we're just going to go ahead and get that really nice and mixed up. We're going to get basically a cookie dough consistency out of this. So it's not a liquidy batter, it's not a runny batter, and it's not a really thick batter. So it's not like a brownie. That's what we've got, is we've got a nice thick cookie dough. Now I had hoped to try to use a piping bag with this because I've never tried it before, but I opted to just go with what I know. And so I'm using the medium scoop from Pampered Chef. This is the little cookie scoop, and we're just taking that out and we're putting them into the little wells inside of our cookie pan. This will grow. It does grow up a little bit, so if you wanted to go lower, you could fill all of them pretty evenly. I'm not a professional at my proportions, and so all of these are going to come out different sizes, but that's okay because it's still going to taste amazing. While we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and preheat our oven to 330 degrees. Now, typically the recipe for this does call for 350, but if you're using a dark pan, you're going to want to lower that temperature, and if you're using little wells like I'm doing, instead of putting it in a glass tray or something like that, you're also going to want to lower the temperature. So we're knocking 20 degrees off of our temperature for the fact that it's a dark pan and for the fact that it is a little well. So we got the oven preheating up to 330, and we're going to continue dishing in all of our filling at this point. We're going to go ahead and throw that in the oven. You can see, I actually set it for 18 minutes, but we actually ended up pulling it out after 14 minutes. Now, after getting these out of the oven, there's kind of a little bit of a science. You want to make sure that you let it cool enough that you can still dump it out okay, but if you let it cool too long, it starts to stick to the sides of the pan. The Pampered Chef non-stick brownie bite pan actually has really good non-stick capabilities. We didn't grease the pan at all. We didn't put any butter. We didn't spray it. We didn't do anything like that. And so after letting it cool for a while, I actually just dumped it out, and most of them came out right on top of the pan. I did have to use my cake tester to loosen up a couple of them, and there was one that I actually had to use the cake tester to get out, but it came out very easily. After getting them out, just spread them out, and you want to make sure that you let them cool all the way. If you don't, when you go to put the glaze on, it's just going to melt off. So let them cool all the way down. All right, let's jump over. While that's cooling, or when it's close to getting cooled off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our glaze. So when you go to get this glaze ready, what you're going to do is you're going to put your 1 cup of powdered sugar. We just used a little bowl, and then you're going to put 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, and just get that all mixing up nice and beautifully. This is kind of a trial and error thing. You want to get it to the thickness that you want. The thicker it is, the thicker the crust will be on your actual lemon bite. Mine actually ended up coming out a little bit thinner than I normally would like, which the positive side of that is it had a much stronger lemon flavor, but it didn't get a really thick white crust on top. So that's kind of just a matter of preference. Once you get that to where you want it and your cakes have all cooled off, what I like to do is I'll scoot all the cakes really close together so they're all right next to each other, and then I just start dumping on top of those bites, that wonderful icing, and then you just let it cool off, and then you are done. After it's cooled off, you're going to get a little cake that looks something like this. Just like that. You can see that mine is a little bit thinner than it normally would have been. Let's adjust our light a little bit here so you can see it better. Yeah, so there you have it. Super easy recipe, easy to follow along with, so you can use this video as a guide. One of those things that if you're ever looking forward to having just an easy little snack, these are great and delicious. Hey, thank you guys for subscribing and clicking that bell, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.